Hi, welcome back. We're in Nibelheim.
Yes. As I was saying at the end of the last one, DOC, one of the biggest problems was that you only got to play as Vincent, even though it would have been great to have even just one or two levels, or even one or two boss fights, as other people. Like, so many times in the game, he gets an assist from somebody, who then does nothing in the gameplay. Like, and Nibelheim here is actually one of the best examples. Because he gets his ass saved at the end of Nibelheim. And you don't get to play as the person who saves him. And that would have just been perfect.
Yeah.
Or, you know, in the Midgar fight, you actually do, you go through a level as Vincent, you get to the Rosso match, have Cloud show up, and go, oh no, you hurry on, I'll take this. I've got a score to settle, because she fucked with my family.
Yep. I kept waiting for the part where I was going to play as Yuffie, because they had her keep sticking around so long, I was sure it was going to happen.
I was hoping, if nothing else, that she would fight Nero.
You got to play as Kate Sith. Hey, come on.
Yes, that was it. And I actually liked... No, I'm going to say this. I liked the Ket-Shi part.
Really?
I wanted more levels where you played as somebody else. Probably not Ket-Shi, because Ket-Shi's gimmick, the forced stealth part, would have been a bit ridiculous. Now, granted, his challenge maps were fun, but in the plot, I want to play as other characters. I want to play as, Yuffie and Cloud and Tifa and Barret.
But, and even if you wanted to be really lazy, it wouldn't take much to stick Barret in. It would still be a shooter.
Yeah.
You just only have a machine gun.
You'd only have a machine gun, you'd have a higher hitbox, you'd have slower movement, you'd do more damage, and you'd take more hits to down.
Yep.
There you go. There is your gameplay mechanic done, because it's not like Vincent's ability to jump was actually useful. Which is another problem with DOC. And we could honestly spend the entire 23 minutes of this
One day
video.
I want to do a commentary, DC, someday. I'll play through it and record it.
I will join you.
Can apparently stand playing through it.
I will join you.
I like George's service. I like it well enough.
Yeah, no, I could play through it again. It's just I'm not going to deny the problems that it has.
Oh, no, yeah.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly.
These
now,
guys...
speaking of the size of towns... Sorry, Pixel.
Oh, no, sir.
So Dirge Cerberus gave you the to-scale comm, and Crisis Core added a bit to Nibelheim. Do you think that's it, or do you think there's still more to Nibelheim?
I do think that there has to be more to Nibelheim, just for the sheer necessity of population statistics.
Yeah.
And literally, there is a sustainability threshold for a given community.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, you know what? Even when you think about in FF7, there were at least 5 children. So I mean, there's got to be at least 5 houses, but I don't think we see that many.
And at least 10 adults.
yeah. Well, technically, we have to have at least 5 adults.
Yeah.
But
I guess
considering
it's 2
that there's
if they're all the
attrition.
same kids.
Yes.
But
Well, no. Specifically, assuming that they're all families, but they're all single parents for some reason or another, because we do have 2 canonical single parents in the series, due to a mysteriously missing father and a dead mother. Oh, by the way, crack theories for who Cloud's father is. Go quickly.
Oh, goodness.
Frankie, your crack theory. Just off the top of your head, right now. Okay, nobody is his father. It was a virgin birth. Force. Your crack theory.
Well, the popular one is always Angeal.
He's way too young for that,
Oh,
but
that's a
it's
reason.
still hilarious.
Oh, God.
Well, it largely comes from the fact that Angeal is based on Cloud's original concept design.
Yeah. The problem is that he'd literally be like 9 when Cloud was born.
Yeah, well, could have been an early bloomer.
Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying it's creepy. Pixel, your crack theory?
Zangan.
Ooh, I like that one.
I approve of that one. That's nearly as cracky as mine.
Or the Calm Traveler or something.
Yeah. Mine is Warrior of Light is his dad. I based that on absolutely
Cross
nothing.
universe.
Oh, no. He's from Gaia originally. He just fell into a time hole and then became the Warrior of Light.
Right. I always liked how you,
It's the same way that, Kane Highland is Sid's dad.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Force?
I always liked in this part how, where you choose the options to have Cloud call all these people out. Because, I mean, as the player, you want to believe Cloud, but it is true that the town's still here when he said it burnt down.
Yeah.
I said, how about being born and raised?
On the other hand, Tifa also believes it was burnt down, so it's very obvious that if one of them's lying, they're both lying.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, if you go into Tifa's house, there's still things that belong to her, like, well, in the piano, like, there's...
The letter was left after it was burned, though.
Yeah.
So it actually makes mention of, wasn't this all burned down in that letter?
Wasn't there another letter, though, in her room?
There's the letter to Hojo, but that was later, too.
Well, there's the thing in the piano, but I think, wasn't that left by Zangan?
Yes, that was left after he came back.
Yeah.
So he took Tifa to Midgar, came back, and was like, what the hell's going on here? And slipped her a note.
Still,
in the original...
Shinru's amazingly thorough for all considering it's all the same maps. So it's the same pots and decorations and everything.
Originally, Zangan was going to be in Nibelheim, wasn't he?
Yes. There was actually a lot of stuff omitted from Nibelheim. In fact, there's a lot of stuff that even our early game materials glosses over. There is an entire section, and it's like maybe 20 pages of just omitted scripts and concepts. Like, there used to be you cut something out there. Like a locket with the picture of the photograph. Yeah. And Tifa and Aerith were going to talk about it because it was explicit evidence that, Cloud was not being wholly truthful.
Well, I think they decided to put that into Gungaga. Well, they didn't include the locket, but I think that's why Gungaga exists.
Yeah, well, it's part of it. They split it out into several different areas to sort of, instead of making it very explicit, they just, up until the big reveal, and even then they were leading you in the wrong direction, they just had it be, wait, what? Is it? No? Bugger. So...
I've never actually gone through this and actually...
Yeah, me neither.
I've just used the guide. I don't think anybody has.
Oh, I did way back in the day. Every other time, though, I've just said, okay, let's go with, my old notes or a guide, because I do not feel like...
And it's always the same, so...
Yeah.
So, like, right 56, left 10, right 36, right 97 or something. I've done it so many times. I don't think that's quite right, but it's close.
This is the only one I couldn't figure out what to do, because...
The creak in the floor.
Yeah.
You have to sort of walk forward and then whatever, but I ended up just going to the point where it was. Let me see. Yeah.
So Shinra Manor, and this is actually more of an odd coincidence than anything, but it has pretty much the upper floors, anyways, has the same overall design as the unhidden areas of the Shinra Manor, not Shinra Manor, but the Spencer Manor from Resident Evil. It has a different staircase, but. And a slightly different arrangement, but it's still the same, mezzanine area through the doorway. And then, they made that connection even more ludicrous. Oh yes, invisible ink. Because all it takes is looking. is to find invisible ink. But no, Dirge of Cerberus actually made the Spencer Mansion even more ridiculous by having it have the huge, unseen secret laboratory in the basement.
Yep.
Which sort of makes some sense to exist, because there was that one door we never go through. But it's
I
just sort of...
screw up this part. I always go past it.
Yeah.
I'm always really careful.
Nice.
What you didn't see is me doing that about 10 times.
Well, you've admitted it now, so there's no pretend.
This guy. Use all magic against him until he goes to his magic form.
Yep.
The physical form is freaking brutally hard.
Yep, and I got the physical form.
Oh really? Well, you're all over.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like I think the last hit I got was maybe Tifa's limit break or something, or I can't remember.
Yeah, I just like slam him with magic until he changes.
Yeah. Though, the last time I played this, I think I got ludicrously lucky because I managed to get his physical, or his magic form to start, and I had set Tifa up to have the Power Soul trick where you have all the status effects on her and she just starts doing ridiculous damage because they all added an extra multiplier to her damage output.
Mm-hmm.
So she was hitting for several thousand a turn just from regular attacks.
Yeah, this is actually Go ahead.
But she was taking horrible damage from being poisoned, but still, nothing you couldn't deal with.
Yeah, this is one battle where status effect can be useful because this boss you can paralyze him and it does make things really easy. Especially if you do get the physical form, just start paralyzing him or use Seal Evil or something.
Yeah.
One of those times where I specifically choose a limit break before the battle against Seal Evil. The other one is at Wutai to fight Raps without materia. It's the only time I ever use Barrett's Mind Blow because you take away his MP and you can't use that freaking Arrow 3 move.
Yeah. Though I recall he was pretty easy to take down with Clem Hazard. So that might just be the fact that he's got low defense and you can pretty easily get him to about halfway before he starts going serious.
Yeah, Arrow 3 is just rough because it does like 1500 damage, which in a playthrough that isn't pixels, that's normally as much as anyone has at that point. And you can't even learn the arrow spells, and you never see Arrow 1 or 2.
Nope.
Well, in my last playthrough, I for some reason felt like using Sense on all the enemies I ran into. It seems like 90% of the enemies in the beginning of the game are weak to wind. I was like, why? There's only like one wind spell in the game. It's that Typhon summon you can't get until freaking Ancient Forest. They just feel like being mean.
To taunt you, yes. That's how this works.
Oh yeah, if anybody's wondering why we named that album Pulse of Life, that's why. It's Aerith's limit break.
Fire Protector pretty sweet. How long does it last? Peerless is the status effect.
You missed. I'm disappointed. You missed one.
Somersault.
Yeah, if you watch Advent Children, you'll notice she uses pretty much every single one of these.
Yeah, she doesn't pop the Final Heaven. I think that's the only one she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't summon a dolphin from the floor either. But
yeah.
No, she does do the motion of the dolphin.
Yeah, she does the uppercut. Yeah.
And in fact, it's specifically the sliding shoryuken that is the dolphin blow maneuver. Yeah.
My favorite in that fight is probably the somersault. Where she kicks up, down, and then backflips.
Yeah.
I love her meteor drive there because it's whoa, near the ceiling, down you go.
Yeah.
Well, you can see when all of them are doing their limit breaks because they, like, with Tifa, when she shakes her hand, like, it's kind of glowing blue, sort of.
Yeah, they all have a charge up thing. Which is why I was way back when they were just announcing stuff for Dissidia 012. I was wondering what Tifa's alternate limit break, indicator was going to be when she was in her EX mode. It's because obviously the Premium Heart was the obvious one, but I figured the other one might be literally just the gloves are off, which would have just literally, it would have been her glove little sprite would have gone, and it just would have been the blue spirit energy straight up, which would have been pretty cool. But
I never used the Premium Heart because I don't really like its ability. The fact that she's wimpy when she doesn't have a full limit bar.
Yeah, it is not. Despite being her ultimate weapon, it is far from her ultimate weapon.
I usually stick with God Hand.
The God Hand, oh my bugger monkey, the things you can do with a God Hand.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more appropriate that that's the ultimate weapon anyway.
Yeah.
I guess.
My arm, my arm, my arm. It sums up the power of the God Hand. Plus, the materia
trouble opening the.
Yeah.
I don't know where to stand.
There we go.
Where's the latch?
Yeah.
The best characters to have with you here, though, are Barrett and Yuffie. They have some of the best lines.
I love Barrett. So that's why you sit in a box. They actually all take that rather calmly when the dude just sits up out of the freaking coffin.
Well, it's not like they haven't just come from the place where the undead were attacking them. I mean, he sat up in the coffin. He's not shooting them yet. That's an improvement.
Yeah, I guess he's lucky he didn't immediately have the Cloud Sword through his midsection.
Yeah.
If they did a remake and made this mandatory to get Vincent and Yuffie, well, how do you think they would do it?
I'm not entirely sure where they'd pop Yuffie in. Probably sometime before Junon.
Yeah.
I think. Probably in the forest, like they'd add a forest area right before Junon, and just have it be that, she, the thing is, the way that I do it is you can fight her and encounter her at any point from the first forest you encounter up till Junon, and if you don't get her at Junon, she'd be thrust into your party at that point.
Well, weren't there originally posters up of Yuffie?
Yeah, I remember in the early material file.
All of them had different ages for her because nobody knew anything about her. They were everything from 12 to 27.
Mm-hmm. I always think of that thing in Tangled where he has different sized noses.
Vash the Stampede. There's different descriptions of him.
Yeah.
I was like, let me sleep. Nope. He flings the coffin off.
I think.
Actually, you know what? This is bizarrely hilarious to me because I've just been playing Catherine and Vincent's having a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any blondes lately, Vincent?
Lucrezia.
No. Godmother. It's complicated.
So there's these
a
theories
beautiful lady
that
with terrible taste in men. And I can say that because she was interested in both Vincent and Hojo.
don't know if she was actually interested in Hojo. I like to believe that she wasn't.
She slept with Hojo, which is just as bad.
But could it be possible that Vincent is Sephiroth's father?
Oh, it's entirely possible. He could. He is literally exactly old enough to be Sephiroth's father, because Lucretia was pregnant when his ass got shot.
Yep.
He does have Sephiroth's nose.
It just comes down to how loose you want to think Lucretia, sorry.
Honestly, I'm fairly certain that no matter what, she was just using Hojo. The question is whether or not she actually slept with him. And I actually have this sort of cruel, but honestly, in his case, justified interpretation that Hojo knew he was a cuckold. He knew that Sephiroth wasn't actually his child. It also kind of makes his creepy lust for the guy slightly more... Well, actually, we should say that it's slightly less balls-to-the-wall creepy. Not by much, but slightly. Because even if there was no relation between them, it's still balls-to-the-wall creepy.
I think if I was to remake 7, I think I'd have, like, this boss would be sort of a mandatory thing when you're going through that hallway, and then it sort of throws you into the door or something, and then you meet Vincent. You beat it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, Vincent has much more effect on the plot than Yuffie does.
Yeah.
Yuffie adds some little tidbits about Wu-Tai and whatnot, but Vincent actually affects the main plot.
The interesting thing about that is how much of that was deleted. Because there was so much... He was an exposition info dump in the early stuff. Like, they deleted it all mostly because I think they just weren't sure if they were going to use him or not. Young's a masochist. He killed half of him, and now he's just... Oh yeah,
I can move!
He's erect now. Oh, no, flaccid again. Yang's nursing it. Oh yeah.
Yang's happy.
Electroshock therapy! For the win.
I barely fit in this cave.
You should be lucky you don't have the Bahamut summon now. That would just be getting weird.
I always like when you're fighting on the back of the High Wind and use Neo Bahamut and he tears up half the ship.
Oh yeah.
I really like the summons in this game. I think in some of the Final Fantasies they're not that useful, or especially like 12.
Oh yeah, I never used them in 12. I mean, hardly ever.
In 12 they existed for damage soak. That's basically...
Yeah, I only used them in 12 if I was in trouble of dying.
Right.
Ironically, in 13, they're the entire or in Revenant Wings, they're the entire point of the game. They are your cannon fodder.
Yeah. Well, I like in like 10, they're a big plot point.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
I think
they kind of go back and forth to being important and not.